Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Yellow Submarine versus OG in the Epic League. The lower brackets of the Epic League as well, so this is a very important match between both of these two teams just to stay in it. I apologise, I'm a little bit late into this game. It wasn't appearing on Dota TV fast enough. There is an Omni Knight here. It's just invisible, but I promise you, he is there. He has been picked up. So probably see OG grab the Sven. There he is. Just the key combo that always goes up with the Omni Knight. Well, I'd say always, but definitely been heavily in the meta for the last couple of weeks. Ever since Secret started doing it, every other team sort of followed suit. See now just how powerful this actually really is. So OG following suit, doing the same sort of role. They've had a lot of success with it as well. So they're perfectly happy and suited to running this strategy. Yellow Submarines, they've led up with the Ancient Apparition. It's a position 5, which you don't really see too much, but OG is actually one of the few teams that does like to run it quite often, put it into the hands of No Tail, and they'll grab the Faceless Void as their second pickup, so that's going to be their position 1 for this game. Quite another high-valued position 1 hero pickup. It was super high-picked, high-banned at the very start of the Epic League during the group stages. If it wasn't banned, it was picked in that first stage. Just no matter what team was playing, it was just that high priority of a hero. But you know, during these the last few days, weird, music went very quiet then to change. But these last few days, he has sort of dropped. Well, I say last few days, probably the last week or two, to be honest. But you know, he still is picked up every now and then. Still a very strong hero, just been able to lock down entire areas and really make team fighting difficult for the other side. Also, not too bad, get up against the Sven. Good way to actually lock him down and heavily reduce his mobility. Sure, he's very tanky, especially with the Omni Knight, so you probably won't be able to kill him during the chrono in most occasions, but you'll at least be able to halt his progress and potentially keep a few of your team members alive. I mean, Omni is always pretty great against Faceless Void. As soon as anyone squishy does get caught in that Chronosphere, you just pop your Guardian Angel, everyone just takes 0 damage from him. Obviously, the Ancient Apparition ultimate and all the other long-range spells that be coming out from the future heroes of Yellow Submarine, they can be pretty potent as well, but it does limit that heavy damage that comes out from the Faceless Void. The Yellow Submarines focusing their 2 bans in the second phase towards Seb, taking away the Elder Titan and the Enigma. So we'll see if they probably do the same sort of thing and take away another hero from him. Meanwhile, OG, they've taken away the Viper and the Slardar. They're just making sure, and then the Snapfire as well. So that's a bit of a mixture. The Slardar will be for the off lane, the Viper and the Snapfire tend to be quite the heavy mid lane favourite heroes. Especially if there's a Faceless Void, the Snapfire does have a little bit more effectiveness. Just easy targets for the Mortimer's Kisses come flying in. Does a bajillion damage, and it's just difficult to survive. It's just very difficult to survive. But yeah, there's Submarine. Take away the Beastmaster. Another hero very good against the Faceless Void. Just that BKB piercing stun. Holds his progress and potentially sets up for an easy gank onto him as well. So we'll see if they're going to grab up now for their third pick. Most likely going to be their other support, the position 4. There's still a leaner in the pool. It's a hero that's pretty flexible, goes like the position 4 or the mid lane. Not sure if it's a hero that Tauron is super sort of comfortable playing, the leader in the mid. I'm sure it's definitely a hero he can play. They're actually going to take the Faceless Void as their third hero now. So, always the potential with the Faceless Void. Again, another one of those very flexible heroes. You can take it into the mid. You can play it as the position 4. You can even play it as the core offlaner as well. If the player that's using it is actually comfortable with that. So we'll see if maybe that's something they plan on doing. If Nuo likes to roll with this hero, potentially. But I'm sure, you know, it's still flexible for now, so they might just be waiting to see what OG are going to grab up for their couple of heroes before they decide where that hero is actually going to end up going in the end. But OG take the Shadow Demon. So Shadow Demon again, I mean, you pretty much only ever see the Shadow Demon as a support role in like your pubs and pretty much all professional games as well. But OG, they are the one team that runs this Shadow Demon as a core. They've put it into the hands of Topson for the mid lane. It's had some varied results. I think they've actually won pretty much every time when they've put it into the hands of Topson, but it never really seems like Topson has that great of a game on it. He generally gets heavily focused down to the point where he can't do that much. But because the team's put so much focus on him, it gives plenty of space for Seb and mid one to actually get their farm online and just carry it anyway. So we can see that. I think it's still probably going to be for Saxa though, position 4. But you can't say it for sure. You know, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed at all. Things can still change. Dota is a very fluid game. You can never sort of pinpoint with 100% accuracy what's going to happen, because every single game is different. And YeS are going to grab that Lina. So most likely going to be mid Void Spirit. Actually, they probably run the Lina as the core mid hero, because then you've got a long range hero which can do a lot of damage into the Chronosphere. The Void Spirit, very limited in the amount of damage you can actually throw into it. Obviously, being a melee hero, its right clicks aren't really that potent either way. So yeah, we'll probably see this Lina in the mid in the hand of Torren. So it's looking like they're just after their offlane or their position 4, depending on where they're going to put this Void. No G now follow up with a tiny grab. Okay, so is this going to be Topson Tiny? This could be Topson Tiny, or as I was saying, Topson Shadow Demon. I think the Sven and the Omni Knight are pretty solid to be in the hands of mid one and No Tail. So yeah, it just depends if which one of these two is actually going to be the core role here. I mean, OG, they could potentially just run this Omni Knight as a core in the offlane as well, into the hands of Seb. I know Secret does that. They don't do it very often. They do tend to run the Omni Knights at 5, obviously, but they have put it into the hands of Zai before in the offlane. So it is the potential. The hero can play that sort of role in the coming team fights. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see where it ends up going. But actually, I think this is probably going to be a core Tiny. You want to get those early levels so you can just quickly blow people up with the Avalanche Toss combo in these early levels, especially since the Lina's pretty squishy, the Ancient Apparition's pretty squishy. To be honest, they're all squishy. All of these heroes, the Faceless Void and the Void, they are relatively squishy as well because they have the elusiveness of their maneuverability spells. So that's the sort of way they counter it. But if you've got a Tiny with a Blink Dagger, they're always going to be able to get on top of you, throw you up in the air, chuck a couple of rocks on your face, and you'll probably die. So I imagine that's probably going to be the role here for OG. So yeah, probably just looking like it's Seb's hero left to pick up. And that's what Yellow Submarine thinks as well. They banned out the Centaur and the Bat Rider. And OG taking away the Death Prophet and the Invoker as well. Just want to try and limit the amount of heroes that Torren can get. Maybe to have an effective go against the Tiny in the mid lane. They can still possibly grab the Leshrac. I mean, the Leshrac's relatively glass cannony, so it can be quite dangerous if a Sven ever gets on top of him. He'll probably melt pretty quick. But it's a hero that can also do damage into the Chrono. Actually, no, I think this Lina's going to be the mid, though. I sort of feel like this is going to be Pos 4 Void Spirit, and then maybe they're after their offlaner themselves. But OG actually give the Night Stalker, so it will be Seb on that Night Stalker in the offlane. We're just going to have to wait and see if OG are going to run this Tiny as the mid, or they might potentially put the Shadow Demon mid for Topson. But I am leaning towards the Tiny mid. As I was saying earlier, just the burst damage, easily able to find a few kills on all of these heroes inside the Yellow Submarine so far. But yeah, I think this is going to be an offlane hero for Yellow Submarine right now. I just got a sneaky suspicion, you know? So, maybe something like... the Bloodseeker quite be good? Could be quite good. Ah, yeah, and sure enough, it is going to be the Bloodseeker. I was going to say it's good because you can always just chuck that Rupture onto the Sven. Heavily reduces effectiveness in the team fights because every single time he tries to chase after you, he's taking a lot of damage in return. And it heavily reduces his combat effectiveness. So I like the Bloodseeker pickup. I think it's going to work out quite well. But, okay, so it's not actually the Lina mid though. It is going to be Torrent taking the Void Spirit in the mid. Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like this Lina should have been the mid hero. Purely because, as I was saying, you want to get a nice and leveled up so you can be chucking a lot of damage into this Chrono. But the Void Spirit's going to be struggling with that quite heavily. But we'll have to see how this ends up turning out. Maybe it's probably because the Void Spirit is a slightly better matchup than Lina. Is it though? I think the Lina does alright against Tiny, to be honest. You've got super far attack range. You can always stay relatively far back. I mean, this is going to be the potential of the of Saxa coming in with a couple of rotation ganks. So the Void will be able to dodge that a little bit better with the Dissimulate. So yeah, sure, he's got a bit more survivability in that mid lane. But that depends if OG are even going to bother focusing a lot of their time and effort into ganking out that mid. Which they probably will. They're a kill hungry team. Let's all, you know, let's just all agree to that. OG are one of those teams which loves to kill people. They just love to kill people. I don't think you can say anything else apart from that. In a nice way, you know, in a Dota friendly way, not a not sadistic, lurking in the streets sort of way. Not at all. They're a friendly bunch, OG. Flowers and friendship, my friends. Flowers and friendship. So it looks like everything's going to be a very standard split so far. Everyone going 2-1-2. Going into the lanes you would expect them to go in. Nothing going to be going too crazy right now. So the Night Stalker's always quite good against the Faceless Void. Once you get your Crippling Fear, you can get on top of that Faceless Void, just constantly prevent him from being able to just zip away. And it's definitely easy setups in conjunction with the disruption that comes out from Suck. So if he ever gets a nice grab onto the Faceless Void, Seb's always going to be directly on top of him, silence him up, doing tons of damage. And even it doesn't even matter if you get the Faceless Void killed in that moment. Just doing tons of damage that Yutaro isn't going to be able to just rewind with the Time Walk. That's perfectly fine. Like, you're not too worried about that whatsoever. So looks like maybe Seb and Yutaro, who's going to win in the clicker wall here. Same thing sort of going up top. There's a destruction that comes out of Sark, so guarantees that rune. Even mid one beats Collapse in the clicker wall there. No Tail's not going to be able to grab the one off so bad, but... ooh, nice little move there by Poshka. Just decides to deny the bounty rune rather than making sure it falls into the hands of OG.
You've been voided.
The next label play. The next label play.
Big tips all about the deny for the bounty rune. Big plays by the support coming out from Yellow Submarines. So is there going to be too much really harassing out Yutaro in this laning phase? Not for like the... I would say it's going to be too bad for him, to be honest. Miposhka should be able to keep Saxa away from Yutaro quite a lot. So I think if Yutaro gets a few lucky with these time lock bashes, he might actually just be able to try and control Seb out that lane. At least until the Night Stalker gets a few levels and tries to pressure the Faceless Void that way. Similar sort of circumstance in the top lane here. Mid one is not going to get phased out too badly by the Bloodseeker, especially not until he gets a few more points into the Bloodright. So it could cause him to miss a couple of CS if he's put into an awkward situation. But We'll have to wait and see if maybe Collapse finds a couple of good spell usages. But in the mid, relatively even so far. 11-0 to Thompson, the 8-0 to Toronto, but he's still got 3 more creeps to grab. So if he gets all of these, they're going to be exactly identical in CS score, and it looks like he will. So the mid lanes are perfectly split. Can't really say who's got the lead so at the moment. We'll have to come back at this lane just later on. Maybe when a couple of supports from the side lanes tries to get a gank onto either side. Then we might see a little gap happen. The only positions that are like doing better than the other sides is the off lanes, because Collapse is on 15-3 right now, and Seb's on 7-3. So the off lane on the side of YeS Submarines is definitely going to have a little bit of extra farm if this pace carries on. But it's definitely going to be easier for the Night Stalker once he starts getting a few more levels online. Shouldn't just be able to get easily out CS by the Faceless Void, especially seeing as they have like nearly identical damage. Seb actually has slightly more. Maybe Utaro's just got slightly... His fingers are a bit more warmed up today. Ready for some professional clicking. But Seb's actually just holding this third point as well. Always just want to make sure you've got the potential for the Crippling Fear. If you ever see an amazing opportunity to try and make a move onto the Faceless Void. Not the easiest thing in the world. But if the possibility's there, you're going to be glad that you saved that skill point for sure. It's just a very chilled game so far. Everyone just sort of farming away. It looks like Tauren actually has forced Thompson to run all the way back to lane, so this will be Tauren building up a nice little lead over the top of Thompson now. Over the top of Thompson. Funny. So maybe Tauren might be able to use this little extra space that he's got onto his advantage and try and apply a bit more pressure onto Thompson. He's half a level ahead now. And who's going to get lucky with the 50-50 chance on the runes? It actually spawns top, so Tauren gets the illusion rune refill. But Miposhka, he tried to go secure the rune down the bot lane, and that's the setup for a free kill. So I think Thompson's happy with that trade. Sure, you lose the bottle recharge, but you get the first blood. Big chunk of extra gold for him, especially seeing as how his bottle was full anyway, and he's not even that low on HP or mana. Nice little glyph there by Tauren. Just making sure that Thompson can't just get an easy little last hit onto the range creeps. Ooh, he missed that one though. Whoopsie daisy. Taking quite a bit of harassment. Just Collapse. Using all these low HP heroes for his advantage. Just super quick. He might get the grab onto Note with the Blood Right. Just about connects onto the Omni. Finishes him off. So free little kill there for the Bloodseeker. And now Midbot needs to be careful. He's got no mana. Half his HP as well. And So Bad's got enough mana for his combo. So if he gets caught out now, Midbot could potentially get brought down. But no move's going to happen. 5-minute bounties end up spawning as well. Will just be a 2-for-2 across the map. Oh, Thompson. So he has a lot of damage there onto Tauren. But as Tauren, he has that level advantage. Manages to get the Astral Step out there and keep himself alive. If he was the same level as Thompson there, he might have just died to that. So a little bit fortunate there for him. Even just still got that bounty rune to fill up his bottle. So he's just going to be back to full HP, full mana for this lane as well. A lovely bit of efficiency. Seb's actually recovered quite nicely down this bot lane. He's forced his way to actually over CSing Yatara right now. Making a little bit of a gap between the two carry roles. So we're starting to see the Night Stalker come more into his element, especially seeing as how it's nighttime as well. Very big power spike for a Night Stalker. Becomes a real scary hero to deal with, especially from a Poshka. And a very squishy support is it's an Ancient Apparition. And if a Night Stalker gets on top of you, there is very little you could do to really survive it. Becomes a very scary situation. Oh, Poshka even still just about getting the pull there. Very nicely done. Oh. Everyone's carried though. He actually got sniped up top. Not sure how Collapse managed to find that one. Must have just taken a very weird path in there for the courier. Tyrant are getting pretty low there. The 7 sucks and they're still trying to find it. Out comes the Crippling Fear. Onto Yatara, he's getting pretty low. And he's not going to be able to get the Time Walk off. The silence lasts way too long at night time. Nice tasty kill there onto the Faceless Void from OG. Perfectly what they want to try and delay Yatara's game for as much as possible. So, I mean, sure, Yatara's game, he's not super suffering, but he's definitely dropping behind. 600 gold behind mid 1 right now. So, there's going to be a little bit of pressure on Torrent and Collapse to actually try and make a bit of space for this Faceless Void now, as they are at the top of the net worth chart themselves. So, having pretty decent games, especially Collapse. And he's got his level 6, so could potentially try and make some sort of move around the map if he wanted. Could go to the bot, try and set up for a kill onto Seb. Yatara does have his Chronosphere as well. I mean, sure, Rupture and Chronosphere are absolutely terrible together. But, you know, it's the attempt to maybe go for a kill. Thompson, he's getting harassed out by Tauren. Out come the disruption there from Sark to make a little bit of space. But now Tauren, he might be able to step. He just gets comboed down. Plus the Purification that comes out from No Tail just blows up the Void. The Void Spirit, I should say. There's too many Voids in this game to just say Void. I think Torrent's getting a little bit too over-aggressive there. Cost him his life. Okay, so maybe now there's a bit more pressure on Collapse then to make the move. I mean, it's not even like he's miles ahead. He's barely ahead of Seb right now, but mid 1, ooh, he just barely gets out of the Blood Right range. If that clipped him, I think he would have died. Mid 1's just going to counter charge forwards, realises that the Sobat has no mana to work with. Going to see if he can get grab onto anything. There's no Stormhammer available for 4 seconds though. And the God's Strength has just run out as well. So makes a wise decision to turn around. Doesn't want to get too blood crazy. Tip comes up with Yatara onto Thompson. Not quite sure what that was about. Maybe a gank attempt came out maybe and Thompson whiffed some of his spells, perhaps. Oh, Torrent. He gets the Astral Step there onto Thompson. Jumping forward, Yatara, he just commits the Chronosphere. It locks down Torrent, but I don't think it's going to matter. Still, Thompson, he's still alive. He's going to try and run away from this. He's just barely able to survive. Finally, Torrent, he gets the kill there. And now they might even just get another little grab down onto Sarkzul. He's blown up. Out comes the Simulate, going to guarantee the kill onto the Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, So Bad and Collapse even managed to find a kill onto No Tail. Where was that actually? Yeah, that was at the top. And they both managed to escape with their lives as well. So 3 kills across the map there for Yellow Submarine. Perfectly what they wanted. So everyone's still just trying to work on to the oh my days, what the hell is it called? How could I forget? What? Mask of Madness, obviously. Why could I not remember that name? It just completely left my brain. Not a clue what that was about. It's the little bit of a hero standoff so far in this mid lane. 3-on-3, just staring at each other from across the river. And Thompson's going to make the move down onto So Bad with the Purification as well on top. So Bad, he's still alive! He's just barely able to though. One little final right click comes out of Thompson. The rock gets swung into the Lena's face. Crushes her down. He's actually going to try to wrap around. He's going to get right behind the Poshka here. This is going to be a perfect grab. Oh! What? What? He just ran right past him. I think the fog must have just about blocked the vision so Thompson didn't see he was there. Oh, but he's going to run into him now. Avalanche toss with a couple of whacks, and that's going to be enough to bring down the Ancient Apparition. Free kill. But Collapse is now rotating around himself. Going to try and go for the grab onto No Tail. His TP on off cooldown, up and down 1 second, but it doesn't matter. He's just going to die either way. Just carries on running because it doesn't matter if he stops. Now Torrent's going to try and get the grab onto Thompson maybe. Even going to carry on diving forward. Sucker's try and lend a helping hand. Thompson's getting pretty low. Avalanche toss comes out. Even though the Goonblade gets committed, it doesn't matter. Miposhka still managed to get the final hit there. I think it was just the tick damage coming out from the Ice Blast. It didn't land on him, but it passed through him. Just enough to bring the Tiny down. I apologise for the weird frame drops. I don't quite understand what's going on. Like, I don't know where all these frame drops are coming from. I'll have to restart the game after this one. So what's Yutaro actually building? He's got his Master Madness online, going to finish his boots. I'm not sure what he's going to try and go for his actual first main item though. I mean, I think he needs some way to try and match the farming's pace of this Sven right now. He rotates to the bot lane, tries to get grab onto mid one, but 6 cents there from the Sven. Backs out just in time before he can get caught out by a Chronosphere. But yeah, as I was saying, he needs some sort of way to try and match the farming pace of this Sven, or he needs to just commit for like a full sort of fighting build. But even then, that's quite a dangerous thing to try and go for. So maybe a Battle Fury, a Hand, and Midas. I'd probably say the Battle Fury at this point. Because, I mean, there's a 1,000 gold difference between the two positioned ones. And Yutaro, he's got involved with a couple of kills, hasn't actually found any kills himself. I think still, it's all helping hand. Especially with our mid one. Just pops the God Strength, farms up the creep stack so easily. Massive chunk of gold just flowing into his pockets right now. Very difficult for a Faceless Void to try and keep pace with this. Especially seeing as how he has no farming mechanic of his own. Only time walk to close distances. Very short distances as well. I mean, look at that tiny circle. That's all he's got to work with when it comes to actually using it for farming. So maybe 3 members of YeS Submarine tried to make a move there onto Seb, but we'll just pop his ultimate defensively. Doesn't want to try going too crazy and trying to live without it. Just wants to secure and force YeS Submarine to go back. We actually see a couple of level differences between Thompson and Tauren right now. Tauren's been doing a pretty good job in this mid lane, getting a dominant lead over Thompson. Even Thompson's a couple of thousand gold behind his own other cores. He's just trying to save up for that Blink Dagger and then try and go for some easy pickoffs that way. If he can find 3 kills onto either of the supports, they will just die to that instant Avalanche Toss combo. Even the Faceless Void will struggle to survive it, only having 1100 HP. It definitely hurts. A little smoke to play coming out now from the side of OG. 3 heroes. Both the supports and Thompson. Does Thompson actually have his Blink Dagger? No, he doesn't even have his Blink Dagger yet. So they're going to try and go for this Yutaro, and he actually shows himself in the lane. Seb's even ready, waiting on the sidelines. Night time's up in 8 seconds. We'll see if they're going to wait for it, if they're just going to go. They are just going to go. Thompson leading the charge. Out comes Crippling here. Fear from Seb. There's nothing Yutaro can do to try and survive this. Oh, no, the silence is just wears off. He goes into the trees. He's going straight for the TP. Oh, there's the cancel there from Saxa. Manages to find the kill on Yutaro. Got pretty close. Nearly managed to slip away. But that is why you hold skills, ladies and gentlemen. Just to make sure those sort of situations don't happen in your pubs. Always make sure you got a disable. But that is just Yutaro's game getting even worse now. Another death for him. Now 3,000 gold behind mid one. 3,000 gold. Mid one, he's got the Mask of Madness, he's got the Echo Saber, working towards the Axe. And there's even a gank coming out from YeS Submarine, so it doesn't matter. Mid one's already out of there. He's legged it, he's gone. And that's just all your rotations wasted. Meanwhile, the rest of OG just pushing your tier 1 in the mid lane. So what is Yutaro building then? He's actually just going straight for the BKB. So I think he realises that they are quite far behind. So he wants to try and be able to actually get into some fights and engagements as quickly as he can. Oh, but they still jump forwards there from Thompson. Gets the easy avalanche toss there onto Miposhka. Tauren has to rotate around himself, but Doesn't look like he's to be able to find anything else. Disruption comes up for Soxa, holding Collapse back for now. But still, Seb doesn't really care about that. He's still going for Tauren. Now he will turn around. Stun comes out there from mid-bot. They're going to try and bring down the Bloodseeker underneath the tier 2 tower. It's taking a little while. Healed up there as well from the Mechanism. Now comes another combo from the Tiny. Blows him up. So 2 kills there for OG. Not losing anything in return. How come pro's this bad? It's not that bad. It's been shut down pretty hard. Oh, smoke came out there, but he got immediately countered with Tossa, just charging in. Does a bit of damage on Tauren, and even Yutaro, he's not falling back. He wants to carry on pressure forward. He doesn't have any sort of damage on him, though. Like, he's only hitting for 100 a hit, and with a Mask of Madness, and even when he gets this BKB online, he's still not going to have any damage. Where's the damage on the side of Yellow Submarines right now? I mean, Tauren's building for, like, utility, so he's getting the Ags to be able to silence up a few members of OG, but even still, he's not going to be providing much damage in the Chronos. Collapse, he's got the Blood right, but again, he's not going to be able to do anything. So it's pretty much just up to the 2 supports on Yellow Submarine to try and assist Yutaro when he gets a decent Chrono down. But it's almost like that's an easy job at all. Still 6k gold lead at 18 minutes for OG. And I only see that gap getting even bigger. It's mid one, a full 4,000 gold over Yutaro still. And mid one, he did have an Ags queued up, but he's actually changed his mind, going straight for the Assault Cuirass. Gonna have it in 1100 gold actually. So that would be online pretty quick. And everyone on the side of the other submarines playing real careful. Moved up by their tier 2 tower. Going to go for a smoke play. They have all of their ultimates available. Oh, actually, apart from Rupture. No Rupture for 45. So that can be a little bit of a detriment to him. That's very useful to chuck on the Sven in these fights. But they've smoked up. They've not even really left the area of their tier 2. So bad even just breaks the smoke. Maybe wait for Thompson. But actually, Tauren, he jumps forwards. He's going to try and get the grab now into the Tiny. Holds him there with the Remnant. Dealing quite a bit of damage. It looks like Thompson will fall. No help could come out from the rest of OG. So Yellow Submarine, they finally get a free kill without any sort of repercussions. I mean, it's not exactly like it's the most high priority kill. It's the least farmed core on the side of OG. But, you know, space is space. Definitely feels a little bit better for the supports, realising that it's not going to be some really obnoxious Tiny blinking out of the fog and just blowing you up in a second. Because that stuff's just soul crushing. We've all been there. Looks like mid one though, he's ready to get involved. Nearly gets the Stormhammer jump there onto Miposhka. Well, not the jump, but just the standard Stormhammer. Even still, he's going to fall back to farming now. Will be able to finish up his AC after he gets these last few camps. Especially seeing as how the bounty is going to be spawning in a few seconds as well. But at least Yellow Submarine managed to secure their top 2. So they're not going to get a big gold hindrance from that. Just the natural gold hindrance that they've had throughout the entirety of this game, what it feels like. Even though the kills are still very even. It's a 7k gold lead for OG. Just having the true farming speed that's coming out from a Sven. You know, that is 5,000 difference between the position 1. So then there's only 2k gold disparity between the other cores. Which isn't really that bad. But just this large difference between the 2 actual carries of the teams. And Yutaro, he's still not even finished his BKB. He needs 1,200 more gold before he can actually have that. Oh, it comes out there from Seb. Look, they tried to get the grab there onto Tauren, but he was just able to astral step away, keep himself alive. Seb's actually just leading the charge. Wants to head up top to try and get a grab on Yutaro. And Sakta, he actually finds Yutaro as he's trying to TP out there. There's no escape now from this Faceless Void. Goes for the Time Warp into the wave. But even still, this isn't going to be able to save him. Even mid one gets involved. Sakta actually gets the last hit there with the Demonic Purge just ticking out. And this looks like this is going to be a cue for OG to go straight into the Roche pit. No Chronosphere to try and set up any sort of counterplay. This should just be a completely free kill for him. It does get scouted out though by the Ice Blast. So maybe that might make OG change their minds slightly. A few more members of YeS Submarine are heading over in this general direction, but without the Void, I just don't think you'd be able to take any fight. It's too late anyway. The Roche has already been killed, and Seb's just hard enough more. Thompson, he actually ends up getting the double avalanche toss onto both the supports. They're getting pretty low. They can't even do anything. They silenced up way too much. Out comes the Rupture onto the Thompson. He's taking so much damage. Now going to try and stand his ground. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do. He actually just tosses Collapse away. He's in this up. The Guardian Angel comes out. Collapse, she's just running into Thompson. But now it doesn't matter. The Rupture's ended, but I think Thompson's is dead. He gets stunned up there by A. Yotaro comes in. Nice 3-man Chronosphere. But where's the damage? There isn't any. There's none at all. YeS comes out to do the Ice Blast as well. They're trying to do as much work as they possibly can. They get the kill onto Saxa. It looks like Seb might fall himself as well. Getting pretty low. No Tail getting focused up by Collapse. He dies as well. Seb also drops. And now it's just mid one left all alone. We'll see if he's actually able to do anything or just try and get out of here alive at least. He's so damn quick, and he's actually going to find the Invis rune. And he escapes with that. Oh, actually, he's not even escaped. He's turned around. Oh, he's going to walk straight onto the sentry ward, though. So they're going to realise he's here. But it's too late. He's already on top of so bad. He's going to start doing a few hits, and it actually brings him down. Oh, dear me. Just when you think, like, okay, he's gone back. All right, he's all alone. Oh, Yotaro, he wants his revenge. His escape gets cut off there from Collapse with the Blood Right. But now he needs to be careful himself. Thompson's respawn, going to jump forwards with the Avalanche Toss, holding Collapse in place. He's still very tanky Bloodseeker though, but another stun comes out from mid-one, holds him down. And the Bloodseeker finally melts. Good lord, this felt like a very long engagement. Whew. So, so even though the mid-one was left all alone, he just felt so strong that he could just turn around with the Invis and just net another little free kill and then set up for the kill onto the Bloodseeker as well. It went so well for YeS Submarines. If that didn't happen, it would have gone pretty nicely for him. They even just get a kill onto Yotaro as well. Just immediately blow him up with the God Strength. It was back online. And Yotaro's a stun locked for everything. Could not get away. And now it's going to start knocking on this tier 3 door. They don't even have a glyph to play with, YeS Submarine. So there's no way to stop this assault from happening. And with the Heavenly Grace on the Sven, with the God Strength activated, this hits for so much goddamn damage. Mid barracks completely melt. They're going to start doing as much damage onto the bottom barracks as they can. And look how quickly it drops. Yataro's up in 10 seconds. They might try and make some sort of counterplay. God Strength has now ended. So maybe OG might be a little bit scared, but it doesn't matter. Thompson's still just standing his ground. Wants to just keep hitting onto the barracks as much as he can. Torrent jumping forwards. Ice Blast. Lovely disruption there from Saxa. Stopping all of that damage coming out there onto mid-one. They're still going to try and keep the stun locked out. Mid-one with the war cry. Try and run away. Doesn't even get clipped by the Blood Right. This is too damn quick, this Sven. Now OG, they will just bail out without any sort of losses. Take away another tier 3 and half the HP onto the melee barracks as well. Just this game's going absolutely amazingly for OG right now. Just feels like there's not much that YeS Submarines can really do. Torrent able to avoid the damage coming out there from mid-one at least. But even still, you need Yotaro to just have something. He needs something. He just doesn't do anything in these fights. As sad as it is, this Faceless Void just feels really underwhelming this game. He's got the BKB, so he's not going to be able to get stunned up. But still, where's your damage? He's trying to build the MKB, but he's still so far away. He's only got 200 gold in his back pocket. And OG are not going to give him the time to farm up. They're going to start pressure onto this set of barracks down bot again. Even a smoke up with the rest of OG on the back lines. Just providing as much support for mid-one as they can. Even going to use the God Strength. Focusing down on the meter barracks. Another defensive destruction coming out there from Saxa. Melee barracks gone. Ranged barracks going to quickly follow as well. And yeah, OG, they just get a free set of barracks for absolutely nothing. There's no way YeS Submarines can try and engage OG right now. They just have to watch their barracks disappear. And they're just going to start working their way onto this top lane. Why not? Everyone starts TP'd up to the tier 2. Going to start pushing out the waves. They did see Yotaro around this area, but he should be able to escape. So he's going to get out there, but I mean, what's he really got? He managed to find... He farmed up about 500 gold. in that time that he was up in this lane. And that's not even enough to buy a single component for his MGB. Meanwhile, OG, they're going to take away another tier 1 tower. They're going to take away the last tier 2. And they're most likely going to take away the last set of barracks as well. At least the Aegis is about to run out. So, at least they're going to have that. No more Aegis available for mid 1. Not that he was really dying anyway. He's got 4,000 HP! What? Oh, Yatoro, he's jumping in there, gets silence onto 3, it's quite nice, but even still, where's the follow-up? They're going to put the Rupture onto Thompson, trying to hold him down, especially with the stun that comes out the FAA. Then the GH gets popped by No-Tail, provides plenty of assistance. And the Seb's just toying with Torin right now going to pop his Crippling Fear, but he's just jumping in and out, doesn't really want to commit too heavily. They have the jump from the side there from mid 1, but it's easily dodged. The Chronosphere comes out for Yatoro. It only finds mid 1. Even the Disruption comes out there from Soxa. So no damage comes out to mid 1 whatsoever. They even commit the Laguna Blade, but it's not really going to have much effect at all. They need to be careful. It's God Strength's up in 2 seconds. This fight can get completely turned around. And they will pop it. Or he gets stunlocked again. They're going to try and do as much as they can, but his HP bar's not moving. And now he's going to pop the God Strength, turns around onto him. Millions of damage comes flowing out of the Sven's arms. And immediately a GG is called. And they're all gone. And they just disconnect. They're just done. They don't even wait for like the rest of their team to, you know, do their thing. I'm done. I ain't stayed in this game any longer. And that felt brutal. That felt real brutal there for the side of Yellow Submarines. I mean, it just felt like the Faceless Void couldn't do anything. And sure enough, he couldn't. He just didn't have a decent enough of a start to try and get an early sort of farming item. He had to, because he was delayed so much, he just had to go for a BKB because OG were fighting too soon. He just could not get an item to try and ramp up his farm to keep pace with this Sven. And unfortunately, it was just an uphill battle from there. There wasn't anything that they could really do to try and contest it. And OG just ran away with that victory. So well-deserved one by them. Easy committal there of the Omni-Sven combo. As you can see, just so damn destructive and potent. Really difficult to deal with. But yeah, I still think that this Lina should have been in the mid. I think Torin should have played the Lina, and then Sobad should have played the Void Spirit. The Void then could have been making disruptions in the team fight, keeping everyone back so there's not as many saves to people who are stuck in the Chronosphere. Like if the Faceless Void was on Soxa, and then you make sure that Soxa's not going to be able to just disrupt up the Sven or whoever gets stuck in the Chrono, then that's good. You're stopping them from getting saved. Meanwhile, the Lina's just throwing up fireballs like she does, doing loads of damage herself, and maybe they could have actually potentially got a few kills and made that a little bit more of a go. But even still, you know, OG, they end up taking it very dominantly. We'll see if they're able to keep this sort of momentum going forward into this game too, or maybe Yellow Submarine can bounce back and push this onto a third game. Your guess is as good as mine. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one and you stick around for the next game. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching that video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it and the content I was able to provide. I am just starting out, so if you did like it and you want to support me in the future, then please think about following and subscribing to me on Twitch, Twitter and YouTube. I post on Twitter what events I plan on covering in the future and when I'm actually able to do some casts. I don't have the most free time in the world, unfortunately, so I can't provide constant content, but I can guarantee you every single time that I do cast, I'm giving it my all because I have a lot of passion for it and hopefully that does come off. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed it and you stick around for the next video. So hopefully I see you guys there. Cheers.